We are recording. Hello, my name is Scott. I am a certified addictions counselor slash addiction specialist. I'm the program manager for Metcalf Recovery Ranch and Rick Smith's Recovery Resident Sober Living. They're both here in Blythe, California. What I'm hoping to do with this is to help somebody that might see this and decide that, like myself, like my guest, have made a better life for themselves because of struggling with addictions. I struggled with addictions for 30 years. I'm that guy. I'm that guy that 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 15, okay? I'm hopeless, homeless, in and out of jail. When I was younger, as you can see, I've got music stuff back there. I played in lots of bands, but I started doing meth when I was like 18 years old. And it led me down a path to where instead of touring the world in a band like I wanted to, I did a tour of the California prison system behind some bad choices, all drugs and drug related, nothing violent. I've never been a violent person in my life. I just don't have that in me. So yeah, and I've struggled with addiction. I've got 8 years clean and sober now, just a little bit over. My date was July 7th. And like I say, I run the treatment center, and I run the sober living that's associated with it, and I get to help people on a daily basis. And my goal for this, and I'm sure my guest's goal, is that if we can help just one person, it'll be all worth it. So, with that being said, let me bring on my guest. There she is. Ann. Hi.
Hi, Scott. It's so good to see you. You're getting me choked up over here just listening to your introduction. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful already.
You know what, man? I sat there and I, over and over in my head, I'm going, man, I'm gonna bumble over these words, all different sorts of ways to try to say this, and all that stuff. It works out okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Ann, people. Ann Watson is an award-winning photographer, holistic practitioner, mother, public relations pro, and a vineyard manager. Her career path began with a degree in public relations, which led her to manage North American PR for some of the world's biggest car brands. From there, she dipped her toe into the culinary world and developed her skills as a chef. Her love of food began at a young age and peaked when she was in her early 20s living in Italy. The next step was melding her passion for food with her talent in photography. This career as a professional food photographer saw her featured in internationally celebrated magazines, newspapers, online outlets, and cookbooks. Simultaneously, Ann runs Watson Wellness, a holistic healing practice where she is an intuitive energy healer specializing in Usui Reiki, right?
Yeah.
Sound healing therapy, bhakti yoga, culinary medicine, and mindfulness meditation. After her husband Tim passed from stomach cancer in February 2021, Ann dedicated herself to growing her healing practice and sharing the spiritual wisdom she gained through her own challenging experiences with others. She focuses on assisting others throughout their struggles with grief, stress, anxiety, addiction, trauma, and illness. Perhaps her most important role, and the one she undeniably is most passionate about, is that of mother and momager to her 12-year-old son Russell, who was a heavy metal guitar prodigy. Their joint love of music and its healing power sees the pair traveling globally to attend concerts, spending time with professional musicians, and nurturing Russell's passion for creating music. Russell is a signed Gibson artist who is currently working on independent music projects with his budding band. Ann is also deeply dedicated to animals and nature, which has led her to rescue and care for a number of animals, including chickens, pigs, dogs, and tortoises. Likewise, she cultivates a 3-acre, 1,800-vine Cabernet Sauvignon vineyard on her land at the Watson Ranch in Southern California. Wow.
Few hats, just a few hats.
Just a few hats, man. And real quick, how I met you and Russell was we were at that, this was in July or August of 2025. I think we were at the Randy Blythe.
Yeah. Yes.
And we're sitting there, and I seen you and Russell sitting back there. I didn't know who you were at all, of course. And after that, everybody got in line to go meet Randy, and get their book signed and stuff. And myself and you and Russell were the very back in the line.
Back of the line.
And there was a long old line. And so we just started chatting, you know?
Yeah.
We'd get to the front of the line, you know, we'd meet them, and then we went our separate ways. A couple weeks later, I'm like on Instagram, and I think it was a Metallica,
Probably.
Metallica, yeah, where Russell was on stage with Lars. Do you remember that one? You know, where he got up on the, you know? And I said,
drums.
whoa! That was a kid who was at that thing, you know. And so I'm going, you know, I texted, I said, who is that? And somebody said, that's Russell Watson, man. That kid shreds guitar. And so, of course, I went looking for you both and quickly found you. And wow, that kid is amazing. just amazing. Just inspires me. And everything I see that you do just exudes positivity and just beautifulness and helping and the whole thing. So tell us about your life today, how you get to live the life you get to live. Tell me about that.
Absolutely, my gosh. Well, thank you, first of all. Thank you for conceptualizing and bringing this show to life. And I'm honored to be your first guest because this is absolutely my calling, is yours as well, which is if I can help one person or 1,000, I don't care. But that one is what matters to me because I know that it gives meaning to the struggles that we've had in life, that there is a purpose for all of what we've gone through, and that I like to live my life now in service of a higher purpose that is the highest and best for everyone, including myself and my son, but especially, serving others. So thank you. I'm just excited that I'm proud of you that you're doing this. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it's the first of many, you know?
Oh, it will be.
Let's see, you know, what happens, you know?
No, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, seeing as how this is and how I found out about you, that you were actually in recovery is because you had commented on a post about it. And so I asked you about it, you know, and that's how, you know, I had thought about doing this, but, you know, and then we just said, hey, man, let's do this. Yeah, I'd love to be your friend. I said, all right, cool. I got to do it now. And so,
yes, you do.
Let's go talk about the struggles. Let's go talk about the struggles.
Let's do it for sure. Absolutely. Because it's so funny. I know it's, I will say this, it confuses a lot of people because I am a vineyard manager. I am a sober wine grape grower. Like, how the hell does that happen? So I can give a little bit of a background on that. When we get to that part, it's related to my late husband and that's sort of how that happened. But so I'm a bit of a, he used to call me an enigma wrapped in a mystery. I'm an enigma wrapped in a mystery because I'm just like, I'm like a sober wine grower. But it's because I have just found, to your point, it's like for me personally, I can't just do one. That's not possible for me. And I had to come to that conclusion.
And your thing was alcohol. Your thing was alcohol.
That was my thing, was alcohol. And stylish alcohol. I was a wine and champagne drinker, so you know. I was a classy alcoholic apparently. No, not at all. But anyways, so happy to dive into struggles and what I call the hardest and best things that ever happened to me, for sure. I don't know if you want me just to dive straight in or if you had any.
This is your story. I want to hear
it. Okay. I suppose that I could say, and I mentioned this to you when you asked me to be your guest, I said it's tricky because I'm not a case of someone who, I've not been through rehab. I didn't do the 12-step program. It was very much, my story is more of a spiritual awakening that happened during a difficult part of my life, that it was a realization, a self-awareness that just, it was like a light went on and something clicked in my brain and in my soul, literally, to where I realized. So I'll just sort of delve into that, I guess.
Okay.
Because you mentioned you were a 15 out of 10 as far as addiction goes. I would say I rated, like, mine personally was probably like a 6 or a 7 as far, you know, I was functioning. I was very high functioning. And I was someone who, I would say my addiction was amplified in my marriage because my husband very much was also an addict, and but never someone who recognized that or wanted to address it. And so my approach in life became very much one of, I'm deeply unhappy because he's deeply unhappy. He's drinking a 12 pack of beer a night. If you can't beat him, join him. Like it was that. It was sort of, and it would spiral into just this darkness of both of us being in addiction, but not willing to talk about it, address it. It was the giant elephant in the room. I think that during the day, if you will, like neither of us were daytime drinkers. It was sort of a 5 o'clock, the beer can cracks kind of thing. And then things just, like his beer can's cracked, my bottle cracked. And it would be 1 to 2 bottles of wine a night was what I was drinking. And, which it's funny because over an evening, you can justify it, right? Like there was a lot of justification. Right. But what started happening for me, and I would say the lowest point, when it became like a 9 or a 10, when the two of us together were very much like codependently supporting each other's habits, was when there would be times where I wanted to talk about things and neither of us could have conversations if we weren't drunk. Like it was sort of this numbing comfort thing that like allowed us to, oh, now we can really, really talk about our feelings, but it was still masked by this cloud, this haze of being drunk, of drunkenness. And then it would spiral into arguments. And again, I also am like you, never violent, very rarely raised my voice. It wasn't like that. It was just sad. It was a dark, dark, heavy, depressing time. And these were times, it was shortly after my son was born. So he's 12 now. So this was right around 2012, 2013 was like when it was kind of peaking. I did not drink during my pregnancy, which was like, wow, look at me. I'm so proud of myself. It was this big thing. But the minute that I was allowed to start drinking again, I did, and it got heavier and heavier and heavier. And I just remember very distinctly having these moments when I would catch a cold, and the first thought I would have when I'd get sick was not like, oh darn, I'm not going to be able to go to work today. It was like, shoot, I won't be able to like drink as much tonight. Like that was my first thought. But my priorities were becoming like building my life around where do I drink, where do I find it, and I was like, this is striking me as unhealthy. Anyways, fast forward, 2019, kind of at the peak of just lots of drinking and unhappiness. My late husband, bless him, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer in late July, early August of 2019. And it was a terminal diagnosis. When he was diagnosed, it was stage 4 stomach cancer. Our son was 4, almost 5 years old. So he was, we had this young son. I thought, I can't imagine, like, no. I was fighting this, resisting it completely. This is not happening. I refuse to believe this is happening. I'm going to make him better. I'm going to make this all, like, it was control, just like, because when he was diagnosed, just to delve into that briefly, because this was what I call the dark time, was, I will never forget being in this little exam room and the doctor sort of coming in and doing a reading of his chart and his like his medical chart, but as well as an MRI scan. And one of the tumors was a grapefruit-sized tumor on his liver. And lo and behold, it was like there actually was no cancer left, even though it was stomach cancer. The cancer had completely traveled from his stomach. It was gone from his stomach, but it was in his liver. And that was so telling to me. I'm like, his liver was so susceptible given all the drinking over the decades. And it also was a bit in his lungs because he smoked a pack of cigarettes a day. So there was a denial and there was a straight into the bottle numbing for me. I was like, nope, I'm not going to deal with this. I refuse to accept this. And so from August until October, so it wasn't that long, it was about 3 months when my husband was first very ill. Because they gave, oh, by the way, when they diagnosed him, they said, if we don't give you emergency chemo today, you will probably have a matter of days. Like he was that sick that he might be gone by next week. They're like, but if we can administer chemo right now, we might be able to buy you up to a year. Like that was the best prognosis they had. And so it was like my whole world just fell out from under me, every plan, everything, and also just the idea of my son growing up without a father, like, wait, no, this is not what was in the cards at all. And we had made all these plans for, travel and retirement and blah, blah. And I just knew, I'm like, none of this is going to be happening. So dove in drinking, but it was around October. It was around Russell's 5th birthday. His birthday is October 19th. And I will never forget, I was sitting and I had poured my wine and I'm on the sofa. My husband's sitting there literally with a chemo, because the chemo did end up buying him some time, by the way. He had a drip going on, like there's this little clicking. I don't know if you've ever been around chemotherapy and like this at-home situation where you had this drip and it was a click that happened every like 2 minutes or so. You knew this was going into his system. I'm hearing that. My son's like watching a cartoon and I'm sitting there with this glass of wine. And it was like, I heard a voice, literally. And it was just, you're supposed to be present. It's going to get me crying. You're meant to be here for this. And if I don't learn from it, then this is for nothing. Like, why are you even going to have this experience? Your husband isn't drinking. He's not drunk anymore. You have to be awake for this, Anne. Your son deserves better. Like, it was just this, and I just poured it down the sink, and I swear to you, it was like, it was just that moment. It was this moment of unbelievable clarity. And yeah, and it was beautiful because, to be honest, that was like the first couple months. I ended up getting 18 months with Tim, and I always describe it as the last 18 months of our marriage when he was sick were the last 16 really. When I was sober, he was clear. It took him being terminally ill to stop drinking, but yet he did. And those were the best months of our marriage because suddenly we had the conversations. We could do these things in clarity. And our son was getting, and that's what gets me crying, getting the best version of us. And I realized that this was not something that was happening to me or to Tim or to Russell. It was happening for us. Like, this was designed to propel me into a higher space and to not make his struggles and my husband's death. I refused on his deathbed. I was like, your death is not going to be in vain. That this is, and he was adamant because I also had, and this is where I can delve into sort of, I discovered energy healing and I discovered all this. Once I was clear, I was like, oh my goodness, I can be a channel for love, for light, for energy, for intuition, for healing. And I helped my husband every time he had chemo. He asked for Reiki. He ended up, one of his sort of parting gifts to me, if you will, was he had a studio built on our property here where I still now, he's like, I want you to, it's begun, give this to others, and that's what I do, is that I want to help. And each time I do, and every day I don't drink, it's not because I judge people who do whatsoever. It's just, I now know clarity and the joy. And that it allows you to suddenly see life in a way where you realize you're not a victim and that we are all on this path. We're all going to leave our bodies. This is all temporary, and you get to make your life either heaven or hell. Like, it's here
right
now.
It is here right now.
Yep. So
wow.
There you go.
And that when you poured that drink, that was it. When you poured it down.
That was it. It was tricky though. Oh yeah. Okay. So what was tricky though is that, again, so part of our story was that when we moved here to the ranch that I live on in Southern California, we live in Fallbrook. we had
Mhm.
some land, and I was like so into wine and culinary stuff at the time. I was like, let's plant a vineyard because we were trying to decide what to do with the land. And that vineyard literally became Tim's full-time job. He never drank wine, I did, but like, so he, together with a local winery, planted the vines, looked after them, was the vineyard manager, and then we also had our own wine label, which we no longer have. I chose to kind of dissolve that after he passed, but it was tricky because our life was like so entrenched in wine and food and all of this that I had built my life again, like around my habits. And so, how can I had to really reconcile that. How can I grow wine grapes and not taste the fruit of my
Consume.
labor? Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
When you were
that
real
was
quick,
tricky. Yeah.
real quick, when you were drinking and you guys had that, were
Hmm.
you consuming your own
Oh, yeah.
product? Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
didn't have to go to the store.
oh my gosh. Oh, and I went to the store. It was like that's
Oh
the
wow,
thing. It was I belonged to wine clubs. I would like all of it because it's a whole social scene,
social thing. Yeah, and it's
very
legal.
much.
It's totally legal. You
And
know.
it's completely legal and you can absolutely like I remember I would like drop my son off sometimes when he was going to like preschool and it was like can I like sneak in a glass of wine at lunch, that kind, but why am I drinking? It was because truly deep down I had become incredibly unhappy. Like I was in an unhappy situation and it felt far better to numb it. So yeah, it was
Yeah, that
tricky.
it was your comfort zone.
Oh yeah, very much so. And
Not
yeah,
comfortable in your own skin at all.
I was
You know.
not comfortable in my own skin. I was not taking
Same here.
care of myself. I was about
Hmm.
50 pounds heavier than I am right now as well. Like I had kind of gotten overweight with my pregnancy and I never lost the weight. And then I just sort of like, again, it was just this defeatist mentality, very much like, and then I kind of also just started taking on this. I am very much a classic codependent. Like I
Hmm.
want to save people, but I was putting that energy into the wrong places. Now I'm like, okay, I see that my ability to help others and my desire is a beautiful gift, but when it's directed in a healthy way and not, and that I try to help people who want to be healed, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it's where in the past, my husband, for example, like he had been coming out of like a pretty negative situation when we met, and he had all kinds of, and I took it upon myself. I'm going to save him. I'm going to be the one that's his light in the world. And it's like, no, he needed to save himself. I see this now. And we had all these conversations before he died. And it's beautiful because I know he's still here. He's right here right
Yeah.
now. Yeah. And he's helping me co-parent our son very much from the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me bring that up then real quick. So
Sure.
you are a spiritual person. You
Yes.
I'm the guy. I got that Buddhist I don't know mind. I don't know what's I've been down all the
100%.
religious the Christianity. I've done all that stuff. None of that stuff really makes sense to me anymore at all.
Yep.
But I just don't know. I mean, I'm hoping
Yes.
that when I point myself in a direction and go there, that all the negative stuff I've done
Oh, yeah.
and my every good little thing I do,
Mhm.
I think it wipes away two of the bad ones. That's just my take on it. I mean, I would
Sure.
think that that's true redemption. Is and being able to go to do what I do every day. I drive an hour and a half
Yeah.
there and an hour and a half home every day.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and
Mm.
being there with those guys every day and then watching them go over to the sober living that I run. It's
Mm.
and getting to play guitar for them every day. And
That's amazing.
you know,
That's amazing.
yeah.
No, for sure.
I play the Lamb of God stuff, and I notice a lot
I
of
love
them,
it.
they take off.
I'd be there for it, man. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
gosh. I know that's a whole other conversation we could have is how music has been such an incredibly important part of the healing. But to answer your question though, and when it comes to spirituality, so for me, when I say that I sort of had a spiritual awakening, it very much happened as my husband was battling it, and actually I don't even like using that word anymore, as he was being transformed essentially by
Right.
his disease. Um, I think I too, I am not religious. I don't consider myself religious because, but yet I respect all religions in the sense that I feel that my belief system has space for all of them,
Yeah.
but not, and, but each of them might not have space for everything that I can
Right.
see is true. Uh, my awakening really happened. I got to literally bring Tim home from the hospital 3 days before he passed, and he passed right here in the living room. Like I held his hand all the way home. And I have witnessed death now firsthand. And I feel like anyone who has witnessed someone leaving their body, which is how I describe it, as well as I'm a mother, so I have felt the energy now of what it's like when life enters the world and now when it
Right.
exits. And it was the exact same energy. I can't describe. I was like,
Wow.
oh, you're just being birthed back. You're going home. I understand this now. You're not. And it really awoke me. Like you mentioned in my bio, there's a particular yoga philosophy that I follow. It's called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti
Mm-hmm.
is essentially divine love. That, and I believe that you can use whatever term you want, but if you want to say God is love or source is love, that our souls are, we are made of love. And that is what everyone is looking for. And that's what we're seeking. And because people, I think, get lost and they find this darkness because it's being covered up, like their light is simply being covered by that darkness. So this is where the energy work that I do in some of the meditation, sound healing, my goal is just to help people remember who they are. That it's like, it doesn't matter what things you've done in life or not. That's all external. That inside is your soul, or the Atma is what they call it in yoga.
Yep.
And that's, yeah, and that source. And Buddhism absolutely hand in hand with the yoga philosophy. It's more of a
That's my.
spiritual,
That's
yeah.
the closest. Yeah. That to me. For me,
Yes,
Buddhism. Yeah. You know.
I totally get that. I've got Buddhas all over my house just to remind me. It's a mindfulness and a presence, and
That's him right
that
over
was
there.
beautiful. I love that because it, again, I feel like what you're talking about too. There's the whole wheel of karma. I don't even know that it works like some kind of exchange where it's like, oh, you did this wrong, so now you got to do this right to make up for it. I feel like it's more, you're, of course you're going to end up, leaving this body and going to back home. And you
Yeah.
designed, I believe we all kind of design our lives even before we drop into our bodies, so that we're here to learn. This is the school of earth. We're here to learn lessons. I actually had a premonition. I don't talk about this very often, but I'll just mention it here. Like the night before my wedding to Tim, I had a premonition that I just knew. It was like a feeling of I'm not going to be married to him for long. It was weird. And I knew he was 15 years older than I was. So I thought, I just kind of chalked it up to that. But it was really
Right.
quite like ominous almost. And I didn't like it. I was like, that's a negative thought, Anta. But when he told me, I remember walking into the room when, and he was the one who said, like, well, I've got cancer. I went, pardon my French, fuck, I knew it. Like I knew it. I knew that was coming. And I think that knowing that I had was because I had probably met his soul before we even dropped into this life. And we had made the agreement that we were going to come here and learn this lesson together, have this awakening, have this child together, raise him now in the way that we're doing, where I'm here in a body and he's not. And this is my philosophy and how I see life, is that there is so much more than this material world. And that I
Mm-hmm.
firmly believe that we're here purely for these lessons, and that we can graduate, if you will, like from
Yeah.
life 101 to life 201 or
Where. Yeah.
whatever.
And those it's right along the same line with what I believe too. And I've gone from I've gone the gamut from the, like I said, the religion to
Yeah,
atheism to, but I like to think that we are here, and that we're doing it for something. It
absolutely.
certainly feels that way. So
Yes.
when after he passed, and
Hmm.
I'm very sorry
Thank
about that.
you. Thank you.
Um, how, I know he played guitar. How did that get to the point to where Russell was picking up a guitar?
Oh my gosh, so divine. Well, it's really funny. Tim always kind of joked. Um, he would say, he would go, "Oh man, I missed my opportunity." He was English, by the way. He was a total Englishman. So Russell is half English, half American. And with his English accent, people often actually would ask him. He had a very like rock star look. He had the scruffy beard, the English accent, wore a lot of band t-shirts or whatever, skulls, and he rode a motorcycle. And so in our town, people were like, "Are you a retired rock star?" It was kind of this joke. And he's like, "Nah, I missed my window. Like I never became," because he very much lived like a corporate life. And I don't know, we have a long background, but we met in the automotive industry, which is where I was in the beginning of my career. So he had an acoustic guitar that he just would noodle with. And it was like his fantasy almost of just like, let me just see if I can finally learn this instrument in my retirement age. You know what I mean? Like he was just like, and when Russell was 4, he bought Russell just this little acoustic guitar to noodle around in like with while he was playing. So it was never formal. It wasn't like Tim knew how to play. He was, he could do some chords. He was good enough, but
Right.
it wasn't, he was not musical in that way. I'm musical with my voice and with sound healing, that kind of thing. I've done a lot of singing in my life, but I am not music. I tried playing guitar in high school. Nope. I actually tried playing bass as well. Nope. Mad respect for what you do. Like that is so hard. So hard. So no, Russell didn't get that. It was 6 months after Tim passed. We were driving past a school of rock, like in Temecula, and he literally pointed at it and was like, "What is that place?" Because it had a little guitar in its logo, and he just was drawn to it. And I think also for him, he did grow up hearing metal, hearing like Tim liked all kinds of music. The one band that we very much loved together was Metallica. And that was like a shared love that Tim and I had for that band. But I tended to like that plus like some heavier stuff where Tim, he was like, Metallica was about as heavy as he went. And then he actually really he loved 80s music. He grew up, in England and London in the 80s. So he had that.
I get that.
Okay.
That power
And
pop
punk.
thing. Yeah.
Power pop, but he also into Sex Pistols, like punk, that kind of stuff. He liked that. Motorhead even, like a little, that was, anyways. So that was his jam. So I feel like Russell grew up with this music in the background of his life. And then he started listening to it himself. And he was like, I want to have a go, as they say. I want to have a go. I want to have a try at playing. And he tried. And he was not instantly amazing at it. He was just instantly passionate.
Strong.
Yes. To where I was like,
That
this
fire.
has just lit something in you. And then it was about a year after that, I remember I took him to his first concert ever.
Oh, that was it.
It was Metallica at SoFi Stadium. And literally, I have chills. It was like, he's never been the same person since that. Like it was.
How old was he then?
He was 8. Is that right? 8? No, 9. Wait, he was 7. He was 9. He was 9. He was 9. And he's 12 now. He'll be 13 in October. So, yeah. And
October what?
October 19th.
Oh, I'm the 3rd. So.
Oh, cool. A fellow October birthday. Yeah.
Rocktober.
Rocktober, baby. There you go. Yeah. But no, it was very cool because what I discovered was that music genuinely was Russell's medicine. He had struggled.
The healing.
Yes. He had struggled to express emotion after Tim passed. He was 7 when he died. I was like, how do you talk about that? And he's a very
It's insane.
You can't. Right. And he's a very old soul for sure. A very, very, very old soul. But I also think it's interesting. Someone said this to me the other night. We were at an open mic where Russell was playing and he was like, how does this kid play with the soul of like such an old musician? I don't understand. And I said, well, honestly, I chalk it up to the fact that he's having his after. Like I say, there's Anne before and Anne after, right? Like you probably even in recovery, I imagine this is something too, where it's like you have your life before and then sobriety there's the after period of your life of clarity. Russell just got his before and after at age 7. Like he saw so much and has learned so much and has had such this unbelievably deep awakening at such an early age that it just makes him naturally deeper. It's a gift. It's a gift for sure.
It's and it's so and it's so wonderful to watch. You know, I'm just like every time I see and I just man, this kid's getting. I get chills. The kid's getting better. He's getting better. And then I seen him doing the singing. When he was singing the Alice in Chains. I'm all right. We got something here.
It's
We got
wild.
something here, and he's so lucky that he's got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
He is.
Yeah. We're lucky we have each other.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very cool. I think this is something that I know we're both stepping into this period of our life together. He, I believe, is brought here genuinely to this planet to help people with his music and to help heal.
Hmm.
I think I also am, but it's funny. It's like he's just doing it on the front of the stage and I'm like the backstage healer, if you will. Like I prefer that and it's been really beautiful. I have been finding in this community, in the music community, a genuine hunger for healing. There are several clients who I work with who are sort of like, whether it's on the road crew or sound engineer, like people, or musicians or families of musicians. Like I think that this is an area that everyone universally needs light, love, healing
Yep.
brought
Yep.
to them. And yeah, I'm excited because I feel like this is definitely the stage of life that both Russell and I are moving into. And I can see us already. I'm like, he's going to be out there on tour, doing his thing, playing shows, and I'll be along, being his momager, if you will, but also healing, helping on, a one-on-one basis. Yeah.
You're both doing it right. You're both
Thank
doing it
you.
absolutely right. You know.
Thank
This
you.
is. Let me see. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that
I know.
I
I
would
feel
love
like
to just keep talking to you about everything, but this is about the recovery stuff.
Mhm.
So, you've recovered. What advice would you give somebody that might see this that is
That's a
struggling right
great
now with
question.
addiction?
I promise you that the darkness that you're struggling with, no matter how heavy it feels, is temporary. That and that there is light, and that light is already in you. It's not something that you have to find outside of yourself. It's not something that's going to be like, no one's going to wave a magic wand over you. It is something that can and will awaken within you, and that the clarity, and like for me, I know I drank because it numbed my racing mind. I didn't know how to quiet the noise. And there is absolutely, there is quiet. There is quiet within you. There is peace within you. You are lovable and you are worthy of all the love in the universe because of who you are innately. And there is nothing that you need to do to earn that other than accept that step of stepping into your clarity and claiming it. That's it. Like that would be my advice. I don't even know if that's advice.
The big book of
Mm.
alcoholics talks about a thing called the gift of desperation, and Mark Morton
Mm.
brought that up a lot in his book. Have you read his book?
Uh-huh. I haven't yet, terribly so. I don't like. I
Yeah,
need to.
it's great. Oh, it's great. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
listened
But
to a
anyway,
little bit of the audiobook, but I haven't read it. Yeah,
but
the
yeah,
gift of
it's like for
desperation.
me, you got it. That you just, it's like, okay, man, I've tried it so many different ways.
That's it.
I think I don't I've dug too deep a hole. I need to get out of it now. It's like and then even after in 2014, I went to
Mm.
Metcalf Recovery Ranch in 1999. I'm a
Mm.
parole officer. I went there again in 2006. I'm the same parole officer. I went
Mm.
there again in 2014. In between that time, in and out of jail, in and out of prison, homeless,
Mm. Mm.
crazy, and just meth.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
in
Such a
2014, I
darkness. Yeah.
decided. In 2014, I decided I'm done with this. But
Wow.
it and I started working at Metcalf after I got out of there after a month.
That's amazing.
I relapsed after that in 2017. I relapsed
Mm.
in 2017. I went on a year-long downhill spiral, and I ended up in federal prison for
Wow.
alien smuggling. The only thing that I've ever been busted for that I was absolutely innocent of. I'll tell that story someday. Nobody will believe you.
should.
Oh yeah, sure. How did you not know the person? You'll understand when I tell this story. But anyway, you were talking about that one moment where you heard.
Yes.
I had that similar thing. I was in Metropolitan Correctional Center down in San Diego, down right by Coronado Bay, 12th floor up there. And I was in a cell with two other guys. They're just loud and everything like that. And I was at the worst point in my life. I've never been at a deeper bottom, spiritually dead. The voices in my head would not stop. None of that. It was just like, oh my God. It happened for 2 weeks. And then one night before I went to bed, I just said, please help me. Please help me. I woke up the next morning with a determination that I wasn't going to feel this way anymore.
Good for you.
I was going to point myself in a direction, and I'm going to go there. I had to stay at that place for a year. Then I had to go to I had long hair there too. When I got out of there, they made me go to a year-long program. I ended up in Salvation Army, and they bushed my hair. They cut your hair, took it all the way down. It was gone. And I got done with Salvation Army, and I got in touch with Sean that runs VARP Incorporated, Metcalf Recovery Ranch, and they said, hey man, I still got my certification. I renewed it while I was at Salvation Army. Can I come back? And they put me right back there.
Awesome.
And while I was there, while I was in that jail, I pointed myself in that direction, and I went there. I went down and did meditation classes in the
There it is.
in the jail, in the bottom of
Beautiful.
the prison, in the library. Did meditation classes once a week. It was a highlight of my. I did 12-step meetings once a week. I talked to some guys on the tier that wanted to do recovery. I ended up writing a book.
Wow.
While I was there, I hadn't
Good
published
for
it
you.
yet. I got boxes and boxes upon writing.
Awesome.
So I know all about that. Point yourself in a direction, go there, and that one thing that happened, please help me. Woke up with the next day with a new determination.
But isn't it beautiful because you turned, isn't it beautiful though? Because what I'm hearing is that the difference there, like that meditation and the prayer even, that's all, again, it's in you. Like you started turning inward to find that quiet, to quiet the noises. It's possible, trust me. The meditation helped. I did it on a tier with a whole bunch of guys yelling and screaming and stuff, and I meditated there. I was able to do it. I was able to, and that's what I teach my guys at Metcalf, and I try to teach meditation. I show them meditation, mindful meditation videos and stuff. And, Yeah.
And you've been absolutely amazing. This has been wonderful. Like I say, I hope it's the first of many. And thank you so much for inspiring me, you and Russell both.
Thank you. It's my honor. Really, thank you for letting me share and just sending light to all.
I thought maybe it'd be like 20 minutes. We've done it for 45
or so.
minutes.
Yeah, there we go. That's great. I know, we could just keep going, but I'll let you go.
We could keep going. We could keep going forever. And I'm sure we will. All right. I'm going to be on the boat. I'm hoping to see you and Russell on the boat.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Let's do this. Let's keep this going. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And